Hi everyone, my name is Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight on Live with Flying Unicorn. And first I want to make a couple of announcements. Don't forget that it is time to pre-order the kits over on Flying Unicorn's site. And I'm trying to remember the link. If somebody will post that for you guys in the chat, Flying Unicorn, I want to say llc.com. Anyway, flyingunicorn.com. You'll be able to find the pre-order, or go to Flying Unicorn on Facebook and check out the information there to get you to the pre-order. The kits are absolutely beautiful, so you'll definitely want one of those, and or one of each of those actually. And next week we have Lynn joining us again. So she always does a great job. So y'all be sure to tune in next week. Same time, same place for Lynn. So I want to go ahead and show you my page that I'm going to create tonight. This is the layout. And I've used Graphic 45, Gilded Lady collection. And tons of fussy cutting, which I have done ahead. Some torn paper, and I've done some stenciling in the background, and again, tons of fussy cutting. So Graphic 45, you have to fussy cut. It screams fussy cut me. So it's just necessary. Makes beautiful images on your pages. So going to go ahead and get started with our background paper. We've used this striped paper, which is this paper here. I've already removed the selvage. You can see the back side is this pretty 2 sheets of every paper, of course, because you're going to want one of both sides to be able to use that. So the background, I have already done some stenciling, and I will show you, put my layout out of my way. Let's just kind of sit this up here out of my way. Well, I'm trying to find a secure place to put it out of my way. We'll put it right there. Okay. This is the paper that we're going to be using for our background, and I will grab the stencil if I can locate it and show you the stencil that I used. It's Prima's Poppies. It's called Poppies 580818, and you can just see the really pretty little poppies flower images in there. It's hard to kind of see because I used modeling paste, and I used Prima's modeling paste, so it's kind of a opaque color, but you can kind of see the images in person. When it's daytime in good light, you can really see these well. It just gives a nice texture to the background, and I just sort of randomly grabbed a few of these and added them in the background, just kind of across this top area, because my bottom here is going to be covered with lots of layers of paper and pretty embellishments. So that is pretty much it for our background layer. The next thing I want to show you that I did is I used this piece of paper here. This is, I guess these have names. Well, I don't know what the name of this one would be. Anyway, you can kind of see this sort of has these little cards on it. And what I did is I took this one. This is going to be the only fussy cutting that I do on the show tonight. Fussy cutting is kind of boring to do on camera, but I wanted to show you how I just kind of chopped this frame out a little bit from the edge to start with, so I had kind of a small area to cut. And I want to show you how fast you can do this and how necessary it is to cut this paper up. It's just so pretty. And you can see the back of this one is just got a really pretty, it's kind of a golden color. I want this frame inside here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of stab it with my scissors, make myself a little hole, and chop out my inside little frame here first. This is going to be sort of the title. And this one's it's a little close here, so I'm going to kind of move in. This is going to be the title of my page, so I need it. But I also want this outside frame as well. I want to be able to use it for my photo. So I'm going to go in and just cut with my scissors. You could use your paper trimmer if you like. I I'm just going to kind of use my scissors and get really close to that sort of golden color of that frame. If you leave a little of the white, it's totally okay. We're going to ink this as well. So just going to kind of chop that out. So we have our frame, and we also have our title. Again, Graphic 45, it just says, cut me, Fussy cut me. So I'm using my little cutter bee scissors. Just get that a little bit closer right there. So kind of do away with our mess, and I'm just going to kind of throw this in the floor, and I will sweep it up later. So that's what we kind of have. I want to go in now and kind of clear this out as well. And I'm going to do that really quickly. Just kind of cut right on the inside of this frame. If you leave a little of that peachy color there, it's totally okay. I want these flowers, so you can see I'm going to kind of just cut around. I'm not going to get these little flowers. I'm just going to kind of concentrate on the larger flower image here, and I'm going to do it really quickly. Not going to worry about all the leaves or anything like that. I'm not going to really get real close, just going to kind of chop away here to get that sort of out. So we have our little fussy cut flowers there in the corner of our frame, and we're going to cover up a lot of that, so I'm not so worried about it being real neat. A lot of that will be covered. And I'm just, of course, concentrating on the larger images here, sort of leaving the smaller ones, or cutting the smaller ones off, I guess I should say. Can y'all kind of see what I'm doing? Feels funny not moving the camera. I feel like I haven't gotten started. I just had to check to be sure that I hit record, and I did. So we are good to go. But I feel funny not moving the camera. Okay, so you can kind of see that's our frame. Just sort of do away with our mess. And then I want this little frame as well. So I'm going to just really quickly on this outside edge, just kind of chop away at that. You don't have to be real close. I'm getting pretty close, but I've done this so much. If you don't get real close, ink is perfect, or you can go back and trim a little bit more, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to kind of chop this out. I fussy cut really fast. I like to be finished. So, I'm not taking a lot of pains with this. And I think I've said before, I enjoy the fussy cutting process while I'm watching TV or whatever. So we're just going to do this fast. And I just kind of wanted to show you how quickly you can do this, so that hopefully the ones of you who are against it will be for it eventually. So you can see we have these two pieces here that I do want to use for our layout. So that was the first thing I wanted to kind of show you, and I'll lay these to the side and give you a peek at our other fussy cut pieces. All these pieces here, these flowers and these little ladies and these little blue kind of images here that I've cut. I want to show you, I cut those from, the ladies came from this paper here, and you can see the blue images. There's a few stamps here that I went in and cut out for my fussy cut layers. And the back side, we're going to use that. We're going to tear that soon and use that back polka dot sort of side. This, of course, this has been cut up, so this is our floral piece. Is this not absolutely the most beautiful floral piece of paper you have ever seen? It is so absolutely beautiful. The back side is a really pretty script, but these flowers are just absolutely gorgeous. So you can see I have cut out loads of them to use, and I have lots more if I want to just continue that process. So that's where our ladies and our blue images, and also this paper here has a few of the blue images. You can see I've cut these little pieces here to go on the page tonight. Lots of these images here, like this one here, would be really pretty to cut on on a page just to add that blue. There's just so many little dainty pieces here that could be cut. The chandelier could be cut, chairs, just whatever. Whatever you desire from these images could be cut. And you can even see, this is so pretty. From this here, you've got more of the 18th century ladies and men. It's just so pretty, and so many wonderful sayings and different things that I'm even going to have left that I can use for pages later. This would make a beautiful mini album, or just whatever you want to do with it. So we're going to lay these to the side, and we will get back to those in just a few minutes. Right now I want to concentrate on our bottom layer here. You can see my screen's going to sleep. You can see I've done just some torn layers here. I popped it up on cardboard, and I've added a really wide piece of lace, kind of a cotton lace that I just had in my stash, as a layer as well. So what I want to do is first show you how I tore the paper. When I tear paper, I like to see the, we're going to use this sheet. I'm just going to kind of lay my paper down that we're going to be tearing. So this is going to be our main sheet here. And then we'll just grab some other pieces that I've kind of pre-done. I like to see the white core, I was saying, when I do the actual fussy cutting. I'm sorry, the actual tearing. I've got fussy cutting on the brain. But when I do the tearing, I like to see my white core. So the first thing you'll want to do is take off your selvage, and it's just your little paper strip here. I call it a selvage. I guess I'm used to using fabric, but whatever you call this little label strip here, just cut that off, get it out of your way. This paper has a little script on it, so we want to be sure that when we place it on our page, the script is right side up. So this is right side up, and I want to tear it. I want it to be smaller on the left hand side than on the right hand side. So in order to see my white core, I'm going to tear from this left side. What you want to do is kind of put your hand down, and anytime you want to see the white core, whichever side of the paper you want to use, you want that facing you, and you want to tear in, towards you. You want to bring the actual tear towards you so that you see the white core. And you see how that white core is showing up there? Just kind of put your finger down and just tear it right on up. And you can see it leaves that really nice white core. The back side, you're not seeing that white core. So you can see if you wanted to use this back side, you wouldn't have the white core because you didn't have it facing you when you tore the actual paper. So that's just something that I had to learn at one time, and I thought it was a little interesting tip to kind of give you tonight for this project, since we're actually using the torn paper. So what we're going to do is start layering this up. This is our first layer, and it's about the same. I didn't really measure it, but kind of lay these together pretty close, maybe a ½ inch difference. So pretty close on that side. So I did really good getting it pretty close. If you've got a specific height in mind on each side, you can kind of measure up and draw with a pencil where you want it, and then that gives you more of a guide where to kind of tear. You could even do a little light pencil mark in the direction that you want it to go, and that helps you guide your fingers when you're doing the tearing process. So just whatever works for you to get that actually where you want it. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to try to find my Tim Holtz scissors, and I'm just going to add some pieces of cardboard behind this paper. I'm not going to try to get a long strip. It's kind of hard to do the cardboard kind of in a long strip, so I'm just going to piece this up, cut as far as I can, and then just kind of piece this up, even kind of slant that down because I want to be able to tuck in. I don't want to go right to the edge because I'm going to tuck in the lace. I'm going to actually tuck lace in there. So I'm just going to kind of give that a, we'll just cut a few extra pieces just in case we want to add a few more. I'm just going to kind of cut these in little squares here for there. I'm going to grab my Fabri-Tac and let's turn this over and we'll add our cardboard. So you just want to kind of glue it down. Fabri-Tac works very well for this. I want to go pretty close to that bottom edge. And actually I got my glue on the wrong side there. Let's change the glue on this side so we'll already have it glued there. And then I just want to add a few more pieces in here just so it doesn't collapse while I'm working with it. But I just don't want to go too close to the edge. I want to have plenty of room to tuck in my lace and my extra embellishments and things. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue to the cardboard. No need to add it to the paper since the paper's not going to touch. The cardboard's going to actually be what touches. So add that to the cardboard and turn that over and put it right about there. And what I should have done actually before I laid that down, I'm going to do it now before I move on. I'm going to kind of turn this up and add just a little bit of a dark brown ink just to this torn edge, just right to the edge. I don't want to cover all of my white core, but I just want a little bit of that dark color just so that that kind of pops when it's against all the other layers that we're going to be adding. So start that right about there. I'm hoping this goes pretty fast. I'm planning to be done with this really quick tonight. We'll see. Let me grab the other papers that I've used. I'm probably going to grab these. Let's grab these leftovers from the first page. Let's just kind of see what we got. Got that golden color that I definitely want to add. And I may have used it all, so let's see what we got. Okay. I want to add this with these crowns here. And again, I want it face up. And I want to tear so that we have this sort of just in the area right here. So I want it face up, kind of facing me. And because I want to be able to see that white core. And I'm just going to kind of tear a strip right across the bottom here, about a 3-inch piece, and you can see that beautiful white core. Grab our page, and here's where I'm just going to start kind of eyeballing where I kind of tear this off. And I just want to kind of, before my glue is really dry, I want to kind of slide this in, and actually I'm going to cut some of this off the bottom so that I don't have so much to get under there. And I could have actually cut this a little closer, but you can see I want to kind of add that. And I want to keep my crowns kind of straight in that area there. I want a little bit more, so I'm going to go back with this piece here. And again, I want to kind of tear it up, face up, and I want to kind of go up in a diagonal direction here and kind of place this in right about here. Just kind of tear that off so it sort of blends in there. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to kind of tear this just a little bit. A lot of this we're going to cover up, but I just want to be sure. I'm going to go ahead and add a little glue to that. I just want to be sure that we kind of have it all the way across here. And most of this right here will be kind of covered up. So I'm not so worried about my crowns being real straight right there. But add a little glue. And don't add your glue to the edge because we are going to add the lace to this layer as well. So we've got that. Next, I want to grab my little kind of polka dot paper. And I actually have a little bit of this left from some tearing that and some cutting that I already did from from this side here. So just going to kind of chop this off here. And then face up. This is what I want to see. So this is where I want my white core. I'm just going to give it a little tear, kind of all the way across. And you can see you can use all of your little scrap pieces. You can kind of use to tuck in. And I just want to have a piece about like that. I'm going to tuck it in right about here. And I'm just going to kind of layer these up and just add a few pieces here and there. And I want to again keep my angle going up in this direction here. So this piece here, I want to kind of angle up about like this. Add a little glue. Just want to distribute this color. So, and then once you start adding your embellishments and things like that, where you see you need more color or where you need more going on, you can kind of go back and add to it, and just whatever you want to do. I want to grab the floral paper or this script paper. Kind of want to see a little bit more color, so I'm looking through these papers trying to find one that I think will work. I want some multicolors in there. I want to mix the blues and the kind of peachy color, and anyway, all the different shades and colors together. So I'm going to grab this piece of paper here and kind of right through here. I know it kind of appears that we're wasting a lot of this, but I'll go back and use all these strips. I just really need this little bit of color from this grouping here. So I'm going to tear just right across here, just right on the edge. And then right across the bottom here. And I'll go back. I can use all that on another project. I've got this here, so let's just kind of tear that right about there and tuck it in. Kind of open this out. Best thing about Fabri-Tac is we can continue to kind of tuck in. The glue stays wet for just a few minutes, and it gives us plenty of time to tuck in and add. And you see I'm just going to kind of tear this away and drop it down in there just a little bit. Add a little glue. And it doesn't really bother me whether it's right side up or not. I just really need this kind of tucked in. So add a little glue behind this piece here. I like that script right there showing. So I'm going to kind of tuck it in right about here. Just gives lots of different colors, and that's going to be, we're going to have lots of embellishments and lots of lace and different things right there. So we are good to go. And I'm just going to tear this piece right here. Let's kind of tear it down to an angle. Add a little glue. I'm going to add it right in and behind right here. So y'all can see I'm just layering and layering and layering. Okay, so what I want to do now is go in with my my lace, and I want to add a little bit more of this peach color up here in this corner. I want this to go just a little bit higher right here. And if it runs off the edge, I can go back and like trim the edges or whatever. If it kind of goes off the edge right there, I'll just go back with my scissors and trim that. But and then again, I want to add a little more right here in this corner. I like this sort of dot pattern, so I wanted to have a few layers of it for sure. Just kind of layer that in there. out like that. Okay, let's move some of our mess. Grab our lace. And this was in my stash, so you can use any kind of a cotton lace. It doesn't have to be this wide because I am going to kind of push it down, and you're not going to see the whole width of it. But it's just kind of nice that this is wide. This is about probably 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece as wide to start with as our first layer here. And I'm just going to start by adding a bead of glue up under this first layer. Just run your glue bottle right up that little area there, and you can take your, if you've got non-stick scissors, it works really well. Just take your non-stick scissors because it's not going to hurt it if it actually touches the glue. You could use a toothpick or a dowel or any kind of a skewer or something that you've got to kind of tuck this in, just so that it reaches the glue. Tuck away, just get it in there. And if you go in farther or leaving more out in areas or whatever, that's totally okay. Then just kind of trim that off on that edge right there. And this little piece here we'll kind of tuck in just a minute, but I want to just kind of chop off a few pieces to tuck in and behind some of these layers. So just kind of lift up. We're going to go in and behind this one right here. Just kind of lift up and add a little more glue. And just tuck it in every time using my scissors. If you move your papers around or whatever, you can just put them back. No big deal. So just tuck him in all the way down. A lot of this still has wet glue, so you're not going to have to add so much. Fabri-Tac stays wet for just a few minutes, and you can add and move your papers and that kind of stuff. So just add that in about like that. And I want to chop off another piece to add up here in this, on this other side here. Probably the glue is wet enough that I added here to just go ahead and just poke that in. Just raise your layers up. And what I should have done that I didn't do, that I just noticed, is I should have been inking all of my edges. So I am going to go back and kind of raise these. You can do this before this process so that you don't have to get it on your lace. I don't mind if it touches my lace a little bit. I just want that, I want that dark brown color kind of peeking out. Gives a little more definition to the white core and to the actual layers that you've added. So just be sure and add that, because it does add just enough detail that it shows it up a little more. So we're just going to tuck that in. We're going to have embellishments and different things glued down too, so if you don't have it glued down really secure, the embellishments that we add here in a few minutes should do that for you. And I'm just cutting pieces, just you can see, just 1 2-inch pieces. I'm going to add a little glue to this layer. Layers and layers and layers. It just creates that full, pretty, shabby detail. It just makes it really pretty. So, and again, the lace, if you get it off the edge, you can go back and trim that. So that is about what I want as far as the lace goes. Y'all can kind of see that's our layers. I mean, you are so welcome to just keep on adding and floofing that up. The more, the better, always. I'm going to add, I think, one little piece that I have here. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right to the lace here. I'm going to tuck this in right about here. That little area looks a little vacant to me. So let's add that right about there. Okay, just like that. Next thing we're going to do is grab our frame. We're going to grab our frame and our photo. Oh, let me grab our photo. I have a really pretty photo of my niece. So I'm just going to kind of put that in there. She's so pretty, and this picture makes me smile. Just gonna kind of take off my edge. I printed these myself, so it's got this little edge I can tear away. Printed them with my little selfie printer, so oh my goodness, this I think is going to be just about perfect. We'll trim a little bit of excess off the edge because we don't want that to show. And then what I'm going to do is add a little glue just to the frame so we can get it on the photo. Going to lay this down and add it right on top of our photo. So this is a 4x6 photo, so this just about is a perfect fit for this. So okay, so we got that, and what I want to do now is pop this up with some cardboard. But first I want to add a piece of paper to the back. I don't like to touch the photos with the cardboard. I need a piece of pattern paper or something that will be the barrier between the photo and the cardboard. So add that there, and then I'll grab a piece of cardboard because we definitely want this popped up. Doesn't have to be as big as the photo, just, in fact, I remember now, because this is so popped up, I just kind of want to add it to the top because it's going to kind of sit uneven here. You see how it's kind of going that way, so I just want to add it to the top of the photo here. So we're going to add a little glue here and a little glue here. And we're going to add our photo right. In fact, we need another little piece of cardboard. It's not standing it up quite tall enough. So you can already see how thick these layers are getting because it's going to take 2 pieces of cardboard. So let's lay this one down about like that. That makes that pretty even. Just about like that. Now a little piece right up under because it's a little thicker here than there, I guess because of our lace. So just add the cardboard where you need it. Just be sure not to touch the photo with it. Right about there. Okay, so now we're going to just kind of build around our photo. Want to go ahead and prepare. Well, we'll go ahead and start layering our pieces in. We've got flowers and see what time we've got. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. We got flowers and some wood pieces and some beautiful pieces by Sandra Everettson. Where's my new pack of those? I thought this went well with the paper. This is archival casts, and I think it's called Milligros or whatever you call it. But I like these little baby doll pieces. They kind of gave it that, since she's a little girl in this photo, and they just reminded me of some of the kind of 18th century type dolls. And I think that's actually what they are. I think that's what Sandra meant for them to be. And so I wanted to use those on this. And this is, like I said, archival cast Milligros. And there's 8 pieces. We're just going to use 2 of them. So Alda does have these in the store. First thing we're going to do is take off these little screw eyes here, whatever these little things are called. We don't need them. I save them though because I can use them for other projects. So I'm just going to kind of lay these to the side. And really quick, I want to give them a spray of Tea Stain Bloom Spray. This is the Color Bloom by Prima, and I just want a quick spray on both of these. Grab my dryer, give them a quick dry. I don't need a lot of color here, so I'm going to wipe up a lot of this and dry these really fast. I just wanted to give them a little bit of an aged look. They're not really stark white, but they are pretty clean and white, so I just wanted to give them a little bit of an age. We're going to go back in and add some micro beads to them, but sort of at the end we're going to do that. So for now, this is all we're going to do to prepare them. It's just a little bloom spray. Let them dry one more second. Okay, that is dry enough. We're gonna clean up our mess there. Lay these to the side. Those will be part of our layers. Okay, I want to grab my flowers. We're going to start our arrangement off with our flowers. And on the original page, I used these beautiful Esperanza flowers from Prima. And these flowers here, I believe they are called Koi. They come in a box like this. Anyway, Alda has all these in the store. I used the peachy color on this layout, but this one I want to use this kind of yellowy cream color. It just is going to give it a little bit different look, but still matches really well. So just kind of wanted to change it up just a little bit. So we've got this, and we're going to start our, and this is, I don't have packaging for this, but this is number 581930. Start off with that one there. It's so pretty. See, it's got the little, it's like a little vine. It's got the little berries and pretty leaves, and it just, you can just kind of make a little, I'm gonna kind of blow those off my photo. Just makes a really pretty little swag on your photo. Not going to use the butterfly. I'm going to save the butterfly for another project, but I am going to use the other two flowers that come in this pack. So start off with our photo cluster kind of at the bottom, kind of in that right corner. And I'm going to add our title of the layout here, if the crown fits. And of course, this is my pretty niece, and she is definitely a little princess. She's a big girl now, so she is definitely a little queen, so the crown definitely fits. So I loved this little title for this layout. What I want to do is add a piece of cardboard, and I just happen to have a piece laying here. So let's cut a little bit of this off. Add a little cardboard behind here. I just want to pop it up because we want our flowers to kind of be popped up in and around. I'm going to add a piece of paper to this. I'm just going to grab one of our little torn pieces here because I don't want this cardboard to touch my photo. So I'll grab a piece that's going to fit. Let's just cover this up. I'm just going to tear this until I get a big enough piece. Okay, add a little glue. I love the cardboard, just not on my photos. So add our little title right about here. And then we're going to start our flower cluster. And I don't want to cover up the words, so I want to kind of slide this up. Don't want to cover up her face either, so just kind of finagle that around and add a little glue. Just going to add the glue like right in the center. And I'm going to start my flower cluster right about here. And you can kind of move those leaves out of the way. If the leaves are kind of in the way of the words, that doesn't bother me so much. I can kind of move those around later. So I'm going to move those down just a little bit, right about there. So we've got our first flower there. Next thing I want to do is grab some of my Fussy cut flowers. I've got lots of pieces here. Lots of pieces here. So I'm going to kind of ink the edges of these. Each one kind of gets a little bit of the brown ink. It just brings out some of the color. And I'm just going to kind of start adding these inside of some of my layers, kind of in and out of the layers. Let's be sure we ink every one of them as we go. Probably should have inked these ahead, but I didn't. So we're also going to go back and add some beads to these, some micro beads too. So just want to kind of tuck these in and around and kind of look and see where all I put them on my layout. And I used lots of them. I kind of used this one up at the top here. You can kind of see I wanted that one to kind of go up there to, and all of these are on that one sheet of paper, that one glorious piece of paper that is just absolutely completely gorgeous. This collection would make a gorgeous mini album or layout for any photo. It is so pretty. I'm gonna kind of blow that away. My poor little ink pad is shedding. I've got a few ladies as well that I want to add. These are so pretty. These are different than what I added to the original one, but I just loved all of them. And I've got a little piece of the blue. This looks like a little tassel that I fussy cut from the one kind of blue paper with the chairs. And I'm going to put this kind of in behind the frame right here. So I'm going to add a little glue to the top of it. And just right in behind the frame, I'm going to place it right about there. I want that blue to kind of move around the page as well. So we'll add it, and you can see she's got the beautiful blue in her dress and in her hat. Their dress in this day was absolutely gorgeous, but I would not have wanted to live then. Can you imagine how heavy this stuff was to carry around, and especially in the hot summer? Cannot even imagine. So I want to kind of tuck her in. We're going to add a little piece of cardboard behind her. Cut a few pieces of cardboard just to kind of have here because I might need them. Lay these to the side. Okay, we're gonna add a little piece right behind her dress, right about there. Just kind of lay her to the side for now. And then this one the same thing. I'm gonna add a little piece right behind her dress. Make sure it's kind of hid behind the dress so you don't see it. Let's ink her up a little bit. Y'all, I was thinking I was going to be done with this class in like 30 minutes. Always works that way. Just kind of lay those to the side. Got a few more flowers I want to ink. I don't want to ink them. There's my little ink pad here is shedding, so I don't want to do it on top of my photo. Do it off to the side. Let's ink a few of these. This is not even a whole flower. It kind of ran off the edge of the paper, but I'm using it anyway. I'm going to tuck it in, and so you can even use pieces of flowers. Does not matter. This beautiful little rose. Ink our leaves up a little bit. I left the leaves on these. I wanted a few extra leaves, and there's lots of leaves you can cut out if you like leaves. I wanted this little blue piece here. Don't know where I'll add it, but I just wanted some extra blue pieces. More flowers. I'm going to go ahead and ink these up, and then we're going to go to town clustering this. Let's get all these little pieces inked. I'm doing these really quick. Another beautiful little rose. And I wanted these little ticket, or what are they? They're little stamps. I cut these little stamps out as well. And I kind of know where I want to tuck those over to the right of this photo. I'm going to add a little glue. And I want to tuck these like right in, right about there. Add that right down in there. I got a few more flowers here to ink. We'll probably use every one of these flowers, so I just want to be sure I get a little bit of ink on each one of them. Here we go. Okay, and also these I'm going to use kind of at the bottom. You'll kind of see, just because they've got the blue color there, they look like the legs of tables or the legs of chairs, or I'm not really sure, but I'm going to use them, and you will see in just a minute how we use them and how it helps with this color. Move this color, I should say. Check our time. Yeah, we got about 15 minutes to finish this clustering. So got a few little peach colored flowers here that we're going to use, and I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, what I'm going to do first is get rid of all of my little brown shredded pieces. That poor ink pad has I think used its last day. I think it's ready for the garbage. It's just shedded, so get all the use out of it I can, I guess. Okay, what I want to do first is continue to add more of my flowers. I just want to kind of fluff them up, my esperanzas. Just want to kind of fluff these up and add these kind of all in and around. I want this one kind of tucked under right about here. This pretty rose, I'm going to add it right about here. You can see we're going to use these flowers here too that we left on our frame to kind of help with our, it's going to kind of help with our bouquet there. Then I want to go in with another one of the fussy cut flowers. While the glue's still wet, just want to kind of add it right up under there. And then we've got this part of a flower here. Let's add it right about here. See how it's kind of just building that up? Can you kind of see how our bouquet is just kind of filling up? We've got these fussy cut flowers along with our other flowers, making it really pretty. So what I want to do now is grab some of these kois, and they come in a box like this, and there's lots and lots in the box. So I want to grab a few small ones, like this small rose right here. I want to tuck it in, if I can keep hold to it. I want to kind of tuck it in over here under these leaves. I want to continue to move our colors around, so I'm going to open that out just a little bit. Add that right about there. This one's I think is really pretty for this side. Let's add it. Again, it's a rose, kind of mimics the rose we have here. Kind of push those together there to add that there. You see we're kind of moving that color. We have that kind of color in this frame as well, kind of up here, so you're giving yourself that triangle of color there. So I want to add one more small one of these. I want to kind of tuck it under our lace here. I want to kind of layer it in under so it's kind of peeking out. It just helps when you kind of tuck them under, in and around it. It helps to draw interest to your layers, and you can kind of tell that there are a lot more layers there. So I also want to use our pretty rose kind of here, kind of on top of the lace, kind of half under the flower and a little on top of the lace. You can kind of see, so it just brings more interest to that little section there. And let's see what else we did. Need a little bit more, I think, in this corner here. So let's add a few more of our fussy cut flowers kind of over here in and behind this little koi flower. Right about there. And then I think I'm going to actually grab another one of these little kois. Let's try to find a flat one, flatter one or something. It even has leaves in here. You see, I'm not going to use these leaves, but it even has pretty leaves in here that can be used. Lots of different centers, and just let's use this little gold. We're going to use some gold in just a minute, so let's use this flower here and add some glue back behind it. And we're going to tuck this right under, so just a little bit of this is going to kind of peek out. We're going to, you see we kind of got that flat section there, so we're going to go back and add a few more fussy cut flowers kind of on top, so we fill that section up pretty good. We got another rose here. Let's put a little glue on the back of our rose and add our rose right about here. Go in behind the lace on this one, kind of on top of our ticket and behind the lace. And you can pop these up if you think they need to be popped up a little bit. Just add a little piece of cardboard behind them. Just kind of lift that and tuck a little piece of cardboard in, and you can kind of see how that just lifts that right up. So the next thing we want to do is kind of add our lady right there. Add a little glue to the cardboard and kind of, well, actually I'm going to remove the cardboard. I think since we just popped that up, we're not going to need cardboard for her. I think she'll just tuck right in. May have to cut the bottom of her dress off just a little bit. Let's tuck her in right about there. So she's, see, can you kind of see her right there? Oh my gosh, these layers are just absolutely beautiful. We have another lady here, add a little glue, and I'm stringing everywhere. This glue is going everywhere. Add our lady right about here, kind of in and behind the lace right there. Add another fussy cut flower, sort of behind her, kind of giving her kind of a reason to be there. Add it right about there. So you can see, can you see the layers? Oh my gosh, just look how pretty the layers are. Just lots and lots of prettiness. Okay, next I've got these little peach colored flowers that I wanted to kind of add in this area here. So we'll add one right about here. And I just cut 3 just because I wanted to pull that peach color kind of up this side of the paper here. So you can see I've got 3 different ones. And they're tiny to cut out, but they just sort of make a nice little impact there in that corner. I just kind of like that sort of trailing up. And we have a few more little fussy cut pieces. I have them, so I'm just going to go ahead and use them. Let's just tuck these kind of in here. One more. Cannot have enough of these fussy cut flowers. They're just to die for. They're so pretty. Tuck that right about there. Let's remove our strings. Okay. Don't think we're going to need this little blue piece. But I've got these little babies here that we are going to use, and I'll show you in just a second what we're going to do with them. Get all of our mess out of the way. Move everything out of our way that we don't need. Let's grab our little dolls and go ahead and glue them down. Just going to kind of tuck them in. I'm going to tuck this one in, kind of in behind our flowers. I just kind of want it peeking out. And I just think they go sort of with the theme, and they sort of, the date kind of, and I just really like them. I was kind of looking for a reason to use them, and oh my goodness, kind of needed a reason to use them, and so I decided they would look really pretty on this page, just because I like them. So we'll tuck him in right about there. Okay, the next thing we have to do is our bling. We have to have bling. So we're going to add these pretty adhesive pearls from Santoro. Grab these. Let's pull those out. And we're going to add some really pretty Viva Decor pearl pin. Shake that up. And this little woman's hat's kind of bothering me. I guess I'll tuck it in behind her little face there. So what I want to do, I've got blue, blue, blue. I need some blue down here. I need my triangle of blue, so I need to add some blue here. So what I'm going to do with these little pieces is I'm going to stagger them right down here. I'm just going to kind of place them in, kind of under the photo, traveling down. These are a little bit different shape than what I originally used, but I just thought they kind of noticed them later, and I thought they would be really pretty. What I'm doing, kind of uneven, place these, kind of stagger them down, and I'm going to use all 3 of them. I think I just used 2 little pieces on my original one, but I just kind of wanted to not make them even at all, just kind of stagger them down. And then what I'm going to do is grab my little pearl pieces and my scissors, and I'm just going to kind of maybe add one to the little paper, just be sure you pull your sticky up with your pearl. I'm just going to add the, well, if I can keep up with them, I don't know where that one went, it sort of flew. Just going to kind of add these larger and smaller ones. I'm going to grab a white one. We'll kind of do blue and white, both. Right down. I'm going to grab kind of a large one. Place it kind of up high on that. And then maybe a white one under it. And just the same thing. We're just going to kind of trail these in a downward little, I almost said spiral. We're not going to spiral. We're going to do little straight lines, but I just kind of wanted to maybe leave those actually on the little paper and grab more. We left our sticky. You just have to be sure not to grab your pearl off of your sticky. One there. Is that a white one? About here. And then what I'm going to do too is just kind of grab a larger white one, and we're going to add a few more little lines down. I'm going to do the same thing, kind of, we want this pretty kind of even, so we'll add one kind of over here with a little trail. Well, we left our sticky again. Just want to kind of trail these down like so. Then I'm going to go back and add a few kind of inside our layers. Just kind of move these around so you can kind of see them sticking out just a little bit in our layers. Be sure to kind of get them kind of evened out, kind of all the way around. Grab one right here and just kind of add it right there. And it'll be kind of subtle, kind of in and around in there, but it just makes a big difference to kind of just move these kind of all around. Also going to add one. Here's one here that we lost. Going to add a few wood pieces now. See, these just from my stash. This is some Prima whitewashed wood, Princess collection, I think, and Epiphany collection. But just want to kind of add these, kind of just tuck these in. You just want more stuff, more layers, just stuff. It helps to have stuff. Since we're dealing with the crown fits, I got a little crown, and I wanted to add it right about there. What I'm going to do is add a little tiny piece of cardboard that's not so sticky, so that kind of pops up a little bit. Just about like that. We kind of want the crown to kind of stand up. So tuck that in right about there. And I'm going to grab a little pearl and add to our crown. Just details, details, details. Always helps to have details. Our little wooden flower. And these are all kind of whitewashed. If you don't have whitewash pieces, or you don't actually have the wood, you can use what you have, extra flowers, or you can color regular wood with some gesso, just a little light coated gesso. Then we just have a little key here. Kind of just one of this little top piece, sort of reminds me of a crown, so I just want to kind of tuck that in right about there. So we have just a little bit of extra detail moving around. So can y'all kind of see what we got? About like that. What time do we have? We are at 9 o'clock. So the only other thing that I did was add some pearl pen, and I just went in, like in my flower centers, and added a few little pearl dots with the pearl pen. You can see just even kind of went in, and you can add them like in a downward motion like you've done your pearls here, to get a little bit of that golden color in there. So just kind of randomly around, I added them even to my frame. Just adds lots of detail with the pearl pen. All my flower centers, I added a little pearl center. So you can do as much or as little as you want to of the pearl pen. Last thing I did was add a little bit of micro beads, just a few micro beads to the page with some glossy accents. So all you do is take your glossy accents, and I did a little bit here in my, let's clear out our little opening here. I don't know what's happened. We've got something in there. That's okay. It'll come out, I'm sure, when we squeeze it. So just kind of add a little bit to your crown. Added a little bit to my little dolls here, just sort of down one side of each of them, just for a little detail. Just a little bit to my flowers. You want to add just a little bit to all your little fussy cut flower centers that are kind of showing, where you can kind of see your centers. Just add a little bit. And then I went along the edge. Okay, I'm going to have to squirt this out. Let's see if we can get that to unclog. I've got a pretty good clog there, so let me see. I'll grab my pen again. Sorry about that. We are clogged up. So what I did was just kind of go along the edge with the just in a few spots around each edge. Not all of them, just in a few areas. I added, you can add a little bit to the bird cage here if you want. A little bit to the flower centers here. A little bit there. And all I did was just take the gold micro beads, and these are just the gold color, and sprinkle them. I've got my felt here, but I don't know how well it's going to do since this page is so big. Just sprinkle them around, and they're going to kind of stick to your they'll kind of stick to your Viva Decor pearl pen as well, and that's totally okay. Just kind of tap that off, and that is it. That is our page. Those are all the details that we have here. So that is it for my class. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and sorry I never can follow along with the chat, but that is the class. If you have any questions, message me on Facebook. Let me know. And anyway, I'm going to sign off. Don't forget, Lynn's going to be back with us next week. Same time, same place. Head over to Flying Unicorn and pre-order your kits. They are fabulous. And that's it. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me.